You think you make your own decisions, right? What to buy, what to click, whom to trust. But what if I tell you that most of your decisions are not yours at all? Yes, every single day, marketers, salesmen, influencers, politicians, they are quietly controlling your mind. And the scary part? You don't even realize it. There are 7 psychological switches inside your brain, 7 simple triggers, and the moment someone flips these triggers, you automatically say yes, even when you don't want to. Have you ever bought something just because it was on sale? Ever agreed to someone's request because they did a small favor for you? Ever trusted someone just because they looked like an expert? That's not choice. That's influence working on you. But today, we are not going to be victims. Today, I'll show you exactly how these triggers work. So, from now on, no one can manipulate you. This is the psychology behind every ad, every negotiation, every scam, every trend, every influencer recommendation. And once you understand it, your mind becomes bulletproof. So let's break down the secret principles from Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. Let's begin. Influence is not some magic trick. It's not mind reading. It's not manipulation in a dramatic movie style. Influence is psychology. Simple, predictable, repeatable psychology. Dr. Robert Cialdini, the author of this book, didn't just sit in a library and write theories. He actually spent 3 full years undercover, working inside sales companies, marketing teams, charity groups, door-to-door businesses, and even telecalling centers. Why? To understand how persuasion really works in the real world. Not the textbook version, the real human version. And after years of observing people, after watching how customers react, how salesmen convince, how audiences get influenced, he discovered 7 psychological principles that control almost every yes we say in life. Yes, even the small things, like buying a shampoo, trying a new restaurant, choosing an app or clicking a link. And even the big things, like trusting someone, falling in love, hiring a person, or choosing a business partner. These principles don't just shape the choices you make, they shape the person you become. Once you understand these principles, you won't just protect yourself. You will also learn how to communicate better, convince ethically, and influence with confidence. So, let's break down these 7 rules one by one and see how the world actually works behind the scenes.
Weapon 1. Reciprocity, the rule that makes you pay back even if you don't want to. Reciprocity is the first and most powerful weapon of influence. It works on almost every human being, no matter their age, status, or personality. The rule is simple. When someone gives you something, your mind pushes you to give something back, even if you don't want to. Even if you didn't ask for it, even if it's a trick. Humans hate feeling indebted. We don't like the feeling of, I owe this person. So we try to balance it quickly by returning the favor. That's why brands give free samples, a free chocolate piece, a free perfume spray, a free trial. Your brain thinks, they gave me something, maybe I should buy. That's why political parties offer small gifts. That's why restaurants offer free puppet or free dessert. That's why influencers give free value before selling a course. Even a small favor can twist your decision without you realizing it. One of the most famous examples is the airport flower scam. A group member approaches travelers, gives them a free rose, and says, "It's our gift, take it." The moment you take it, your brain triggers reciprocity. You feel pressured to give a donation, even if you don't want to. Cialdini says something powerful here. This rule is so deep, so ancient, so emotional, it can influence entire cultures. Whole societies are built on the idea that if someone helps you, you must return the favor. That's why reciprocity works so strongly. It's not a marketing trick, it's a human survival instinct. Once you understand this, you'll stop getting trapped by forced kindness, and you'll start using reciprocity ethically to build trust, goodwill, and strong relationships.
Weapon 2. Commitment and consistency. You become what you repeatedly say yes to. Commitment and consistency is one of the smartest psychological tricks used in persuasion. It works because humans want to look consistent, in front of others and in front of themselves. The rule is simple. Once you say a small yes, your mind pushes you to say a bigger yes later, just to stay consistent. We don't like to break our own word. We don't like to look confused or unreliable. So even if the second request is bigger, difficult, or uncomfortable, we still agree because we already said yes once. Marketers, salespeople, and even politicians know this. They don't ask for the big commitment first. They start with something very tiny. A small yes, a harmless yes, a yes you don't even think about. For example, someone comes to your door and says, "Hi, we're running a small petition to keep the neighborhood clean. It'll only take 10 seconds. Can you sign?" You think, okay, no big deal, and you sign it. But a few days later, the same organization calls you and says, "Sir, since you support this cause, would you like to donate 500 rupees to help us continue the campaign?" Now, because you already wrote your name earlier, your mind feels pressure. I already supported this. I should stay consistent. So you say yes, even if you didn't really want to. That's the power of commitment. Even in relationships, careers, diets, and habits, this law silently shapes our decisions. You become what you repeatedly say yes to. Here's a quick moment for you. Have you ever said yes to something small and later got stuck in a much bigger yes? You might not notice it immediately, but this principle is influencing you daily. Once you understand this rule, you won't fall into traps of small favors or quick agreements. You will pause, you will think, and you will choose your commitments wisely. Weapon 3. Social proof. If everyone is doing it, it must be right. Social proof is one of the strongest psychological triggers, and most of us don't even realize when it controls us. Humans hate uncertainty. When we don't know what to do, we simply copy what everyone else is doing. It feels safe. It feels normal. It feels correct, even if it's not. This is why trends explode, why products go viral, and why crowds think alike. Your brain has a silent rule. If so many people are doing it, it must be right. Marketers use this every single day. Think about reviews. You are scrolling online and see 2 items. One has 6 ratings, and the other has 6,000 ratings. Even if the second one is more expensive, your mind pushes you toward it because the crowd has validated it. Likes, followers, shares, these numbers hack our confidence. They don't just show popularity, they create trust. One of the famous examples Cialdini shares is from hotels. Hotels wanted guests to reuse towels to save water. Earlier they wrote, "Save the environment, please reuse your towels." And it didn't work. Then they changed the message to, "75% of our guests reuse their towels. Join them." Suddenly, the reuse rate shot up. Why? Because people don't want to be the odd one out. They prefer joining what others are already doing. Social proof works everywhere. Why restaurants with long queues seem more attractive. Why people buy the most popular plan. Why kids copy trends without thinking, and why adults follow the majority in decisions. Not because it's logical, but because it feels safe. This is how the world influences you quietly. When the crowd moves, your mind moves with it. But once you understand this principle, you stop being a blind follower. You start asking, is everyone doing this because it's right? or because everyone else is doing it? That small question can save you from a lifetime of wrong decisions.
Weapon 4. Liking. Attractive, friendly, similar people get more yeses. Weapon 4. Liking. Attractive, friendly, similar people get more yeses. The next psychological trigger is liking, and it's surprisingly powerful. Humans naturally say yes more easily to people they like. Even when the offer is useless, even when the salesperson is manipulating, your brain becomes softer when you feel a connection. Cialdini explains that there are 4 major things that make us like someone instantly, and each one increases the chance of a yes. 1. Physical attractiveness. Attractive people automatically seem more trustworthy, more talented, and more honest, even when they are not. It's an unconscious bias. Your mind connects beauty with goodness. That's why brands use handsome models, pretty influencers, and charming presenters. Looks open doors faster than logic. 2. Similarity. We like people who look like us, talk like us, think like us. Same language, same hobbies, same background. These create instant connection. If someone says, "Oh, you're from Delhi," "Me too," your trust level automatically rises. Not because of facts, but because our mind loves familiarity. 3. Compliments. We all know when someone is giving fake praise, but still, it feels good. That's the crazy part. A simple, "Nice shirt," "Wow, you look confident today," can lower your guard in seconds. This is why salespeople compliment you even when you know it's forced. They're not praising you, they're activating your psychological trigger. 4. Familiarity. The more we see someone, the more we trust them. It's called the mere exposure effect. This is why influencers post daily, why political candidates show their face everywhere, why shops repeat the same jingle again and again. Your brain starts believing, if I see this often, it must be good. Simple example. Imagine walking into a clothing store. A salesperson smiles at you, compliments your jacket, says he's also into the same fashion style, and helps you like a friend. Suddenly, you feel comfortable. You feel connected. You're not buying a shirt. You're buying approval. That is the power of liking. Liking is not evil, but when you understand it, you stop falling for fake smiles and forced compliments. You start seeing who truly cares and who is simply using psychology to make you say yes. Weapon 5. Authority. When experts speak, your brain switches off. The next psychological trigger is authority, and this one is so powerful that it can override your own thinking. Cialdini says, when someone looks like an expert, your brain relaxes. You stop questioning and you start obeying. We don't follow authority because we're weak. We follow it because for thousands of years, authority kept us safe. Leaders, doctors, teachers, their knowledge protected us. But today, anyone who appears like an expert can influence you even if they know nothing. 1. Symbols that trigger instant obedience. There are simple signals the brain reads as expert, such as uniform, police, security, delivery, medical. Title, doctor, engineer, professor, CEO. Clothing, suit, lab coat, formal dressing. Age, older people automatically seem wiser. Confidence, strong tone, steady posture. Your brain sees these symbols and thinks, okay, this person knows more than me. It's safe to follow. 2. The Milgram experiment, the scariest proof. A man in a lab coat, just a normal researcher, instructed people to press a button that gave electric shocks to another person. The shocks were fake, but the volunteers didn't know that. Even when the victim screamed in pain, even when the volunteers felt guilty, 65% of them still continued the shocks just because the authority figure said, "Please continue." A lab coat, a calm voice, a professional setup. That's all it took to override human conscience. 3. This happens every day in our life. A doctor recommends a medicine, we buy it without checking. A finance expert on YouTube gives advice, we follow blindly. A celebrity endorses a product, suddenly it feels trustworthy. A senior in the office speaks, their idea sounds smarter than it actually is. We don't evaluate the idea, we evaluate the authority behind it. 4. Why authority works so fast? Because your brain is trying to save energy. Thinking takes effort. Questioning takes time, so the mind chooses the shortcut. If this person looks like they know what they're doing, just follow. 5. How to protect yourself. Don't trust someone only because of their clothes or title. Ask simple questions. How do you know this? Check facts, not confidence. Respect authority, but don't surrender your mind. Authority can be helpful or dangerous. But once you understand how it works, you stay alert, and no one can misuse their image to control your decisions.
Weapon 6. Scarcity. If it's limited, you want it more. The next psychological trigger is scarcity, and this one controls people more than they realize. Cialdini says something powerful. When something becomes less available, we want it more, not because it's better, but because our brain hates losing. Think about it. We don't chase value, we chase what we might lose. Scarcity creates panic, not logic. You see lines like, "Only 2 left in stock," "Sale ends in 2 hours," "Last chance," "Limited offer." The moment you read this, your brain goes into fear mode. If I don't take it now, I'll lose it forever. And suddenly, even things you don't need start looking important. Loss hurts more than gain. Psychologists say losing $100 feels twice as painful as gaining $100 feels good. This is why scarcity works so effectively. Your brain is not excited about the product. It's scared of missing out. That fear pushes you to act fast without thinking. Black Friday, the craziest example. Just imagine Black Friday. People fighting in malls, crowds pushing each other, throwing items into their carts like zombies. Why? Not because the products are special. Not because they need 5 TVs or 3 toasters. It's because of one line, "Limited stock, hurry." Scarcity doesn't increase value. It increases panic. How marketers use scarcity on you every day. Online shopping shows fake, only 1 item left. Flight booking sites show 3 people are looking at this seat. Restaurants say special dish available only today. Influencers say offer valid for 24 hours. Half the time, it's not even true, but your brain reacts instantly. Scarcity in relationships. It's not just products. People become more attractive when they pull away. If someone becomes less available, suddenly your mind chases them more. Not because they changed, but because your fear of losing increases. How to protect yourself? When you see limited, pause. Ask, do I really need this, or am I just scared to miss it? Separate emotional panic from logical decisions. If it's a good product, it will still be good tomorrow. Scarcity is powerful, but once you recognize it, you stop acting out of fear and start acting with clarity.
Weapon 7. Unity. We say yes to people who feel like us. The 7th and final weapon of influence is unity, and this is one of the strongest persuasion tools ever discovered. Cialdini added this principle later in his career because he realized something powerful. People don't just say yes to those they like, They say yes to those they feel connected to, those who feel like one of us. 1. Unity is beyond friendship. It is identity. Unity is not about liking someone. It's about feeling that you and that person are the same group, same tribe, same side. When someone feels like your people, you automatically trust them, help them, and agree with them. Not because of logic, because of identity. 2. The power of we over you. Words matter a lot. Saying, you should do this, creates distance. Saying, we can do this together, creates connection. We tells the brain, this person is part of my group, my tribe, my side. And when that feeling appears, persuasion becomes effortless. 3. How politicians use unity every day. This principle is the most visible in political speeches. You will hear lines like, we the people, we will rise, we are the future, together we fight. Politicians know something simple. If they make you feel like you are part of their group, you will trust them, even when the logic is weak. Unity overrides doubt. Identity is stronger than facts. 4. How brands use unity to build loyalty. Think about iPhone users versus Android users, football team fans, gym communities, religious groups, national pride. Brands and communities make you feel like you belong here. And once you feel that, their influence becomes natural. You defend their choices, you stand with their decisions, you follow their advice. Because it's not them anymore, it's us. 5. Unity in personal relationships. Unity matters in everyday life too. When someone says, we're the same kind of person, trust increases. When you share your background or story, connection deepens. When you find common values or experiences, persuasion becomes effortless. This is why people often say, I trust him. He feels like my type of person. 6. Unity can be manipulated, so be careful. Sometimes people fake unity to influence you. Scammers pretend to be from your community. Salespeople use your language or hometown to create bonding. Politicians divide people into groups just to gain support. Whenever someone tries too hard to say, we are the same, pause and check if their actions match their words. 7. How to use unity wisely. Focus on shared values, not fake similarities. Build genuine connection, not manipulation. Use we when you truly mean teamwork. Remember, unity persuades best when it is true, not forced. Final takeaway of this principle. People don't just say yes to ideas. They say yes to people who feel like their own. If you understand unity, you will understand the deepest level of human influence.
These 7 weapons of influence aren't just theories. They're tools you can use today. Quick-fire applications. Negotiate better. Use reciprocity plus social proof to make your deal stronger. Communicate with confidence. Authority plus consistency shape how people listen to you. Protect yourself from manipulation. Spot fake scarcity, fake friendliness, fake urgency. Sell honestly. Use liking plus trust plus value, not tricks. Influence without force. Guide decisions. Don't cage them. Ethics punchline? Influence becomes dangerous the moment you hide your intention. Use these principles to help people make better choices, not worse ones.
Once you see the triggers, you can't be manipulated again. The world runs on influence.
Every ad, every negotiation, every conversation is nudging you. But now you know the triggers behind those nudges. The world is full of influence, but you can choose who controls you. Once you understand these psychological weapons, you stop being prey and start becoming aware. Awareness doesn't make you cynical. It makes you free. Awareness is your superpower.